wanted to start a creperie as such, but I just wanted to work for myself. Well, at the time I needed to work for myself, so I was looking for an easy route to enable me to do that. Well, the competition, obviously, if you're in any town, and that was a tourist town, so the competition's going to be really tough. And as a mobile business, you're up against, obviously, restaurants, cafes with nice furnishings. So it was quite tough. So I think you had to find a way to deliver what you were selling in a way where people actually wanted more than the product they were buying. It was the service, and it was the what can I say? The way you interacted with the people when they came to you, I think made a massive difference. So as opposed to maybe going to a Greggs next door but one, where they're not getting that service, they would have been more inclined to come to me, and the food was better, obviously. The creperie was in a town, and my daughter and I used to go there, and then such time came around where I actually needed to work for myself. I couldn't be governed by going to work certain hours. I needed a more sort of freer, flexible working experience. So I was looking for a way to achieve that, and the creperie came up for sale, and it was actually my daughter that suggested maybe I could buy it, but I had no idea at the time what I was going to do with it. Yes, you do. You can, when I had my creperie, you could make crepes from buckwheat, normal flour, you could buy the batter mix in bulk. It's the fillings actually that make them individual. So the fillings can just be basic, lemon and sugar, Nutella and banana, there are a couple of basic ones, or then you can go on to more different ones. I was going to say fine dining, but we're talking about crepes. But mozzarella, sun-dried tomato, basil, camembert and cranberry. You can put anything in a crepe. Typically obviously this was a few years ago now, but for a standard crepe, lemon and sugar was $2.50, and the more complex ones, which would be camembert, sun-dried tomato, mozzarella and basil, they typically would sell for about £3.50. Well, it was hard work because you would have to get everything you needed in the car, and at that time that included my water, because I didn't have any mains. So I had to take my water down there manually. So again, it would be filling up the great big, I can't remember how much they held now, and filling them with water, putting them in the car. Then once you got to the creperie, then you would have to obviously get your batter mix sorted out. You'd have to put the pump in the water, ready to have running water, fill the boiler up, put your griddles on, and the minute you opened the shutter, you had customers, so you had to be ready. Yes, I did, because I felt that there was room for expansion, and I did want to expand. So I then decided to do toasted sandwiches, much the same as the crepes, but with toasted sandwiches, but basically ham and cheese, bacon and tomato, sort of breakfast staples. Then I went on to baked potatoes, so we bought one of the Victorian baked potato ovens where you can store them, and we made lots of different fillings. And then in the winter we made homemade soups, which we had in one of those great big soup container things, and nice old-fashioned ones. So it was a lovely setup. We did cover quite a nice range of food, really. It's very, very hard work. Very hard work. If you're doing it on your own. It's long hours, sometimes for little reward. It's seasonal, so it depends on the weather. It depends on where you are. If you are doing the festivals, then it probably doesn't matter. But if you're based in a town, for example, obviously if the weather's bad, you're not going to get customers. Obviously, we do get a lot of bad weather here in this country, so it can be quite challenging. But it is something that I actually I would have liked to have carried on, and I would have liked to have expanded it. So I would say to anybody that's considering it, it is fun, it's rewarding, but I think you need support. We did get involved in festivals, so we did a few festivals, and they were really good, really enjoyed them. That was mostly crepes that we actually did at the festivals. We sort of narrowed it down because it was a busy time, so we just thought, right, we'll just concentrate on the crepes, which I think was quite good logic, really. People came to the creperie, they knew what they were getting, they just had to choose their fillings, so it just made it a little bit easier. But there was room for expansion, definitely. And looking back now, I think that it would have been really successful. So I do think there is still a market, obviously for mobile catering vans. There most certainly is, with all the festivals and gigs and exhibitions that you get. So I'd really recommend it.